Hello, my name is Elizabeth Swinney, and I'm in Miss Slater's EDU 311 class. I will be presenting you today about my case study. My student's name is John. He is an African American male in the 4th grade. He is 9 years old. He has 2 siblings, one that is older and one that is younger than him, and he has no known medical needs or issues. My student John has several strengths and interests. First, he likes to play on the computer in his free time, just like any 4th grade student that's 9 years old likes to do. He likes to play football after school and on the weekends. His favorite game is Hitman 2. His favorite food is wings, and he does not have any pets. He also does not play any sports, and when I asked him what his 3 wishes were, he said to play football, to be good at it, and he would like to make good grades. If he could be anybody in the world, he said he would like to be Batman, and his favorite subject is math. When I interviewed his teacher, she gave me a lot of information about his academic and behavior challenges. First, he struggles in reading, but is very strong in math, which is kind of interesting because we saw earlier that he really likes math, and so that is one of his strengths. He has difficulty with fluency and comprehension. His mom is very involved in his education and behavior concerns. He does get along well with his classmates. He's very, very social. He has lots of friends and he gets along with everybody, so that's a good thing. His behavior does need improvement. His teacher believed that one of the reasons that he acts out is because of his comprehension skills. So he does need some improvement in that area. He is well below the rest of his class grade level wise. In reading, he's reading on about 2.5 grade level, so that does need some improvement. His academic and behavior history. He is currently on a PST team, and he was last year at his previous school as well, so that transferred over, and he is still on PST at his current school. He was referred for special ed, and the testing process is going on currently. He receives intervention daily in the classroom for reading. I observed my student in several different settings and got lots of information from that. First, I observed him in a general education classroom. He was reading an AR book and took a test on that AR book. He definitely stayed on task and was well behaved. He sat in his seat. He did what he was supposed to. The teacher did not have to correct him or redirect him on what he was supposed to do. He knew exactly the procedures, and he did really well with it. I also observed him in another classroom. He, once again, was very well-mannered in this classroom. He followed directions, and he stayed on task doing his work. And I observed him in the hallway in the bathroom. He walked to the restroom correctly. He was actually the bathroom monitor the day that I watched him. He did kind of struggle with remembering what his duties were with being a bathroom monitor. The teacher had to remind him what he was supposed to do, so he did struggle with that some. But other than that, he was really well behaved. Social strengths and challenges. I did a sociogram with my student, which I did it with my whole class, but I did a sociogram and found out a lot of information on him. First, he had a really hard time understanding the questions that I was asking him. I would ask him several questions, and I'd have to explain it even more. He just really struggled with knowing exactly what I was wanting him to answer and where the lines were supposed to be drawn, so I did have to explain that a little bit more in depth. He said that he was friends with everyone, even if he did not draw a line to them, because several students, of course, he did not draw a line to, but even then he said he still liked them, he was still friends with them. So I thought that was very interesting. It just goes back to show that he is definitely social, and he does not struggle in that area. So he was really nice. He said he was friends with everybody in the class, even if he did not draw a line to them. He did seem to draw lines to several different people, so I think that once again means that he's very social. He did not have the same line to different people or to the same person. He had lines to lots of different people in the classroom. He has many different friends and makes a lot of people laugh. Everybody in the classroom loved this student. He was definitely one of the class clowns, but he had lots of friends. I worked with him a lot. I did lots of lessons with him. So here are some of the accommodations that I did with him. He got peer help with assignments and his morning work. He was placed in the classroom by people that were really good helpers, and so that helped him a lot. He had a lot of oral prompting to stay on task and complete his work during lessons. That was often that I had to remind him, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Get back on task. So he got a lot of oral prompting. He got a lot also small group interventions. I worked with him a lot in my lessons in small group. He really needed that. He works really well in small groups, and I'll talk about that in just a second again. But small groups was definitely a great accommodation and intervention that he does well with. Oral prompting and additional explanation by teacher on assignments. He really needed help with if an assignment was given, he just needed help to get started. A lot of times he did not understand what am I supposed to do first, or remind me again what the directions were. So I definitely had to do a lot of that with him. He just needed some help getting started. That was his main thing. So that was one accommodation that I gave him. What worked and what did not work? A peer helper definitely worked with him. He did really, really well if he had somebody helping him. Positive support. He is another thing that worked. He really liked being told how great he did and telling the things that he did right. So that's definitely an intervention that worked well with him. And once again, additional explanation. That is something that I talked about just a second ago. So additional explanation is one thing that does work. Something that didn't work, verbal reprimands. He did not like being yelled at, which I did not do that, but he did not like that. He did not like warnings. He just really did well with positive support that he was given. Let's see, cooperative learning groups. This is one intervention that he really, really did well in. I worked with him a lot in small groups, and that is in my lessons. I always included small groups, and he does really, really well with them. I tried to use effective questioning as much as I could, and to hear what was going on in his mind and what things he was thinking, so I did try to use those a lot. I let him work in groups as much as possible. I know in all situations, groups is not something that you can always do, but I did try my hardest to let him work in groups as much as possible. Working in groups helped him to hear other people's ideas, and it also helped him to stay on task. If he was working in a group, people always helped him to, this is what we're supposed to be doing next, so that was something that really did work well for him. If I could do something differently, I would pair him in different groups more often than what I did. A lot of times it seemed like I was putting him in the same groups, or he was working with the same people. So if I could do something differently, I would definitely try to put him with different people. What did I learn? There were many, many different things that I learned about this student, more than what I thought I was going to learn. I learned that academically challenged does not mean socially challenged. I think a lot of times there's a stereotype that if a student is struggling academically, then that also means that they struggle socially, and I found out that that is definitely not the case. My student definitely struggled academically, but he was the highlight of the class. Everybody loved him. He had lots of friends, and like I said, the second bullet point, academic strugglers can be the most popular students in your class, and he was definitely one of them. So that is something that I definitely learned from my student. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching.